In this video, I'd like to share with everyone more on Coral Castle, and in this video we're going to get into how Ed was using radio waves the same way that John Hutchinson is using radio waves to do the Hutchinson effect. So let's get into it. Okay, it's all about frequency, up or down, and the 0 point where there is no frequency. So you're either trying to get everything to go into resonance where this are all vibrating as one unit, or you're trying to get everything to go to a complete 0 point where there's vector equilibrium and you're basically wiping out all the so-called lines of force in the area. This is what Ed's doing at Coral Castle. He is evacuating all the magnetism out of a given space, therefore only leaving dielectricity. Because there's two things that are involved when you have electricity at all times. There's magnetism and there's dielectricity. When you separate them, this is when you get different phenomena to occur. So it's exactly the same thing that Hutchinson is doing in Canada. Because Ed worked from this whole premise right here. And like I said, they hide everything in plain sight. But if you know what you're looking for, they tell you everything. So this is what they tell you, straight in the open. And this is what Ed believed the whole time, and this is what he talked about. The Earth is a magnet, okay? Coming straight from your college text on electrical engineering. So Ed was right, the Earth is a large magnet, just like your magnet here with a dielectric at the center where there's no magnetism. The Earth has the same thing. At the center of the Earth, there's no magnetism at its core. Okay, so we're going to get into the audio and the radio frequency deal, but this is kind of a side note here that's pretty neat. Another one of my synchronicities with Ed. When I was 16, I had a pair of Rockford Fosgate 12-inch subwoofers, and they were in my speaker box, and Rockford Fosgate, the word, when you look at it, it has rock and it has Ford in it. Well, this is what Ed used to call Coral Castle. He used to call it Rockgate. So it's kind of funny because I was listening to those speakers, and it's got those two words in it. It's got rock and it's got Ford, just like the Model T Ford. So, I mean, it's got rock gate right in the whole of the two words. So after I was done with the Rockford Fosgate speakers, I got a pair of these other speakers called JLs. Well, when you look at the letters in the JL in their logo, it's just like the right angle deal that I'm showing you with the wheel, with the whole 95 105 right angle relationship, and then back the other way. So it's the same deal that Ed is showing you right here with the Coral Castle, and the yin yang symbol is this right angle relationship. And it's the right angle relationship between the Earth and the Sun when it's dealing with this whole radio wave deal. So that was just another cool synchronicity that I just wanted to share with y'all. So it's working like this. Okay. 455 is like this miracle frequency. And this is what John Hutchinson talks about, because he's got his whole deal set up just like Ed's got his deal set up. It's working at right angles. He's using his radio waves at right angles. So Hutchinson is talking to Art Bell. In 1979, he says that he's using an electrostatic Van de Graaff generator. Okay, this is basically generating this dielectric discharge and a Tesla coil. He's pulsing high voltage DC through a spark gap. Also used an RF generator at 455 kilohertz. 455 is the broadcast frequency for many radio stations. He was causing objects to go semi-transparent and having material that you could see through, using 3 Tesla coils, one at 7.5 kilohertz. He's had a vacuum tube at 14 megahertz, and at 455, he had the Van de Graaff generator on it. So Hutchinson says when the energy is tickled, it causes this effect. And he says 455 kilohertz is a magical frequency. It's a fundamental frequency of many things. He says he's focusing the field in a geometric pattern, a distance of 3 foot apart, and he's pulsing DC spheres. This is important, he says. Okay. So when you're dealing with this whole thing with the RF, it also has to deal with resonant frequency and achieving this whole thing of the anti-grav or the 0G, where you're cutting all the so-called lines of force. You can do the same thing with rotation. Okay, Otis T. Carr was doing this by rotating his craft, just by figuring how the Earth rotates. It's at 60 minutes, you got 1 hour, 60,000 RPMs per hour. So he's figured all this thing out to relevant to how the Earth is spinning. Because once you can break the magnetic pull from the Earth, because the Earth's a big magnet. So just like this piece of magnetite here that would represent the Earth, this would represent you or any other object in material existence in the light spectrum. You're stuck to this thing. You can't get off it unless you jump. But if you jump, you're going to get pulled right back down. So that's how all these crafts, everything is just manipulating that pull. It's manipulating that dielectric acceleration, or what most people would call magnetic attraction. Okay? It's just breaking that. That's all Ed's doing to get these stones to levitate. He's just breaking the pull. So he's doing it just like John Hutchinson is showing you in Canada. It's the same exact thing. So it's all about how these radio waves are interacting with these objects, and then he's pulsing this DC. But you can also do it with AC too, depending on how much you want to put into the object. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. You can just pump so much electricity into an object that you create what's called dielectric stress. Okay, and if you fill it full enough, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to blast, because everything is doing is this. In frequency, you can go up, 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 up. The energy gets higher, the space gets smaller. Okay, then all of a sudden you reach a point to where it blasts, or it reaches a pinch-off point to where it does this. It goes into vector equilibrium. And there's no more of these so-called lines of force pulling on that object. They can't get to it. It's just like being cooled to absolute zero. That's how they say superconducting works. Okay, where there's no flow of the E word. So that's how everything's working, and it works this exact same way as you go down. Exactly the same way. So this is how a black hole and a white hole would operate, right? So here would be your whole deal going down, which would be a representation of going into counter space, or if you're going up into a white hole, right? So you're producing your matter here, and you're getting your drain effect here. So that's your materialization, dematerialization deal. So that's how Ed's running this whole thing. He's running it just like John Hutchinson's running it. It's a low power, high effect type of deal. Just like Tesla was using low current, high frequency. So it's all working off of the same principle that Ed's been talking about. That the Earth is just a giant magnet. So I'm going to end this video here, and we will continue. So stay with me. Thank you.